So we're going to be hopping back on the Cummins here. There are a lot of parts that have been delivered for this truck since we've last pulled it out of the shop. We have a new brake master cylinder for it. Whoever worked on it last, I don't know what they put in there, but it's not brake fluid. So we're going to be changing out that master cylinder, and I'm going to see what fluid is in the lines. If I see that fluid in the lines, we're going to end up putting front calipers on it too. Whatever it is has been eating the seal up on the top. So we're replacing it, because if it's doing that, it's going to be doing that to the seals inside of it. If we sit down the calipers, obviously, same problem, we're going to have to replace it. There's a new fuel pump to go on the block for this. So we have a new lift pump for it. We have a new intake crossover tube. We have a new exhaust manifold. There's a complete new exhaust system for this. I'm trying to think what else we have. We have gauges to go on it. And part of the reason we haven't seen this in a little bit is there's a new set of injectors on the way. So when we did these upgrades to the fuel system, we started to notice it's hazing a lot. We ran overhead to make sure that it wasn't an issue with overhead. Everything checked out on that. And what we ended up finding with the thermal camera is that we're misfiring on 1 and occasionally on 6. And from what we've been able to tell, these are stock injectors. So we are getting a new set of those on the way. We're going to throw some injectors in it, and that should fix that problem. But we're going to go ahead and get started on the exhaust today. And we have an EGT sensor to go in. So looking at the way the manifold sits in the truck, looks like the back is going to be the best place to do it, because those coolant lines go out of the way and we have room between 5 and 6. So we'll go over to the back of the truck now and we'll see the new manifold and see where we're going to put this in. So this is the new manifold we have for it. As you can see, there's a nice flat spot right here between 5 and 6. So we are going to center punch, drill, tap a hole right there in it. Now, 1/8 by 27 is the thread of this, so we've got our tap for that. We've got our center punch and a smaller drill bit to start with. We have our drill bit that it needs to go up to, and then just some WD-40 so we don't burn up the drill bits in it. So I'll get the tripod set up here, and we'll go ahead and drill and tap this. Alright, so we've got our hole center punched. Now, if you're doing this with the manifold on the truck where you won't be able to clean it out, I usually put grease in the flute to the drill bit, same with the tap, to try to collect as much of the metal shavings as you can so you don't send them through the charger. With this being off the truck, I'm not worried about it. We'll be able to clean it out no problem. You do want to make sure that you're drilling as straight as you can too, because you really don't want that EGT sensor to be sitting at an angle. It's not really going to affect it, but it just looks bad. You want to make your install look as clean as you can. Alright, so we have the first hole drilled. Now we're going to take it up to the size it needs to be so that we can tap it. And that drill bit's dull as hell. Let's go sharpen that real quick. Alright, so we got this bit sharpened. It's going a lot better now. Alright, now we're just going to tap the hole. Alright, so we've got it tapped. So now we're going to go take it, clean it off, blow out all the metal that's in there. And then I think we're going to start pulling the old manifold off the truck. This one's going to be ready to install. So put my wrench on the back side there so that when it popped through like that, I didn't hit the fuel line or anything like that. So we've got it drilled all the way through. I'm gonna go see if I can get an extractor now that'll fit that. We ended up getting that bolt extracted out of this hole. And we've got the manifold just kind of loosely started on there. Now, when they shipped it, they left out one of these M10 by 1.5 Allen heads. So I'm gonna have to run into town to go get a bolt so we can get the manifold mounted. We have a Tractor Supply and a Fastenal that are in Greencastle, so between one of the two of them, I should be able to get this. And then I need all 4 bolts to mount the charger to the manifold. And once we're done with that, I'm going to hop underneath of it and start getting this old exhaust system out, because we've got a full exhaust system to put on this, from the outlet of the turbo all the way to the tip. So I'm just going to get this buttoned up a little bit more. I'll pick up some tools, get the back of the service truck cleaned up so I can run it to town, probably grab some lunch while I'm out there. But that wasn't too bad. I mean, for a 500,000-mile truck, only 1 broken exhaust stud, and it honestly came out textbook. Center punched, dead center, drilled it out perfectly, got it to the point where it was just a little bit of thread left in it, and then we just went ahead and ran a tap through it and cleaned it back out. So I'm pretty happy with that. So I know it may seem a little dumb to put all my tools away every time I leave, but I never know when I'm going to get a service call, and I'd hate to have to come back here just to get tools because I left them here and didn't take them with me. So anytime I go anywhere, I just put them all back in the truck. That way they don't get forgotten, and if I have to go on another service call while I'm out, but I've got everything on my truck. That coolant level's rising. Alright, so we're pretty sure we've got a blown head gasket on this Caterpillar. Go ahead and start it. So note that we're sitting just a little bit above that add mark on the coolant level. We're idling right now. Just idling. I can see some oil and crap that's in here on the top side of the reservoir. We're already to the fill line. We've already completely covered that area with coolant. I'm willing to bet money if we test it, we're going to get combustion gases in the coolant. Okay. Yep. Overpressurizing the cooling system. That thing's for sure probably got a blown head gasket on it. We got the exhaust manifold on. I had to run in town to get bolts for it. Now, those center 2 top bolts, they really suck to get. So I don't have any ball end Allen sockets on my service truck. So we tried making one out of an Allen wrench. It was still too much of an angle. So what we ended up doing was taking a 1/4 inch bit, cutting it down with the cutoff wheel, and then putting it in a ratcheting wrench. And that was just enough clearance to get in there after we used the Cobras to get them run down as far as we could with pliers. Just the way that it comes up and over this raised section right here, that's what was fighting us. It's getting access on those Allen head bolts. I really don't think Allen head was the way to go. They probably would have been better off using a hex head bolt and getting an open end wrench in there, but it's on. So I'm going to clean up the turbo side real quick, and then we'll get the turbo mounted back on here. Alright, so we got the flange going back together. I got 2 of the 4 bolts tight. They have to get done with the open end wrench on a few of them, and kind of slowly, but we're getting them. That's about going to wrap up today. It's about 4:30, so by the time I get tools cleaned up, picked up, get all the scrap out to the scrap pile, it'll be about 5 o'clock, so that'll be it for it today. Hopefully tomorrow we'll hop back on it, and I gotta put a brake master cylinder on it. We'll get the exhaust on it tomorrow, And I believe the injectors will be here for it. So we might be able to get the injectors in tomorrow in the new crossover tube.